Hey guys, no sooner did I finish clearing out the packing debris from that Leader NTSC test pattern generator when this box showed up. What's in here is a Philco 3955 chassis that I got from a Antiques Radio Forum member. Now I don't have the console that this goes into, and even if somebody was to give me one for free right now I wouldn't take it because I just don't have the room for it. But there's a very good reason why I wanted to have one of these chassis even without the console, and that is because this console, or this chassis rather, works with the Philco Mystery remote control, which is the first remote control ever made. And I just so happen to have one over here that I picked up a few years ago. It's awaiting restoration, so I took the case apart so I could refinish it. The way this works is there's a dial up here like a rotary telephone, and there would be labels in here with station call letters and a volume up, down, and a power off. You would select the function you wanted and you would rotate just like a telephone dial, let it go, and it would slowly go back. Inside here we've got a battery operated AM transmitter. Battery would have sat in this cardboard box here and plugged in, and it'd be a type 30 tube here which I took out for safekeeping. And then this is the transmitting coil. I believe it worked in the band below AM broadcast, like 3 to 500 kilohertz, somewhere in there. And here's the actual mechanism. These 3 points would attach to that rotary dial, and it's got a spring and a flywheel type escapement on it, and a bunch of metal points. What it would do is when you rotate the other side, it would wind up the coil and slowly start rotating this contact across those points, and each time one was made and broken it would send out a pulse of RF to the radio. The number of pulses would determine the operation. Let's see if I can get this to do something one-handed here. There we go. So something like that. And believe it or not, with just being on for that brief amount of time, the tube was able to heat up enough to transmit some RF power, which would be picked up on this side of the radio, I do believe, with a simple tuned receiver and an oddball tube called a thryotron, I think, a gas thryotron, which is what would make the pulses that would power whatever's inside here, which I'm guessing is some type of stepper motor, early stepper motor. I'll have to open up this box to see what's actually in there. And then here's the tuning dial, which you could of course also tune manually. So my hope is to one of these days get this all operational and kind of have it out on display, opened up like this as a demonstration of how the first commercial remote control actually worked. Before I forget, I wanted to mention that there is a great YouTube demonstration of a beautifully restored Philco Mystery Control remote and matching console. It's Ampico Kid 30, AMPICO KID 30, I believe. I'll put a link up on my video. Okay, what we've got down here are the tuning slugs for each of the station presets. So you would adjust these brass screws here for the station presets to correspond to the dial for your area. And here is a giant rotary switch that would select one of those coils. On the other side, boy, that seems heavy. We have the mechanism. It was inside this box, which I removed. I was surprised to see there's about 3/8 of an inch of padding all around the sides of some kind of spongy material. Hopefully not asbestos. I'm guessing this was to deaden the sound, because I've heard that this stepper relay motor assembly here is pretty loud. So what I understand from what I've read is that the pulses that would come from that remote would activate this relay, which would somehow, actually in conjunction with both these relays, somehow rotate probably like a cam escapement assembly to rotate that switch around and select the function that you chose. So I think this will be quite interesting to get working someday. Nice thing is the radio is actually pretty simple, which is only about 2/3 of the chassis. He did pull all the tubes before he sold it to me, but it looked to be fairly common. Type 80 rectifier and so on. I've restored some similar radios before, so I don't think that would be too bad. However, I have heard that this is fairly touchy to get working. Requires some fine adjustments, and if you move around the room with the remote, it may not work, so you have to constantly readjust things. But hey, even so, for such a unique piece of radio history, I'm willing to spend the effort to get it working properly. Well, I think that's all I got for now. Hope you found this interesting.